Don't leave me hanging. It's go time.
Hey everybody, this is Josh, and welcome to another fantastic game of StarCraft 2. This one is being played by Fnatic MSI Gretorp. He is the red Terran down here in the bottom left corner of Shakuras Plateau, and his opponent for the third and final game of this best of three is StarCraft US, better known as DarKFoRcE from Alternate Attacks. He is the orange Zerg up here in the top right corner. Obviously, DarKFoRcE is playing from Europe on the North American server. He did not have an account of his own, so he was loaned this one from StarCraft US, so that's great that he's actually able to play in this tournament despite not having an account here. That's very nice of whoever loaned it to him. So now we're going to see Game 3 in a best of 3 series for the Justin.TV Invitational number 2 between these very good players. DarKFoRcE did actually manage to sneak a game past Gretorp there on Metalopolis, and it was largely in part because of Gretorp not doing a complete wall-off at the top of his ramp, and DarKFoRcE got in there with a ton of speedlings very early and destroyed a lot of Marines and SCVs, but Gretorp looks like he's going to make sure that doesn't happen again. This time he is going to wall off the bottom of his ramp rather than just leaving the top of his ramp wide open. And this is the same sort of wall-in that we saw in the first map on Icy Cup Fighting Spirit, so perhaps Gretorp can continue that magic. He tried to do the same build order again on Metalopolis, didn't quite work out for him. He didn't have enough units, lost quite a lot to speedlings and banelings very early in that second game, so hopefully he'll, I don't know, try to defend against that stratagem a little bit better. But you know, that first game it worked out for him brilliantly. He had 90 Marines attacking DarKFoRcE and just shredded through everything with stim packs and lots of medevacs overhead healing him up. And DarKFoRcE this game is going to be expanding first once again. Spawning pool should be the next thing we see, and right as he hits 200, there he goes. And Extractor should be very soon to follow. That's basically your standard Zerg opener, unless you are going for fastest speedlings, where you would get an Extractor and then a spawning pool, and then figure out a time that you might want to get your hatchery up. But DarKFoRcE being a little bit slow on the Extractor this time, maybe thinking about doing roaches very quickly instead. He still does not have an Extractor. He's just droning up, getting his macro tools, actually saving up for a Queen, it looks like, as well as some Zerglings quickly in this game. And did DarKFoRcE actually scout Gretorp? Yes, he did see the barracks and the supply depot down at the bottom of this ramp. Command center being built very quickly for Gretorp, as well as a second barracks. There is one SCV headed through the middle of the map going to do some scouting. I don't see a single Marine built yet. No, it's all just workers for both players so far. Queen and Zerglings coming out now, though, for DarKFoRcE. So this SCV will be able to run past that hatchery, see that going on, and then once he gets into the main, he's probably going to be devoured by Zerglings and a Queen. And he's going to get in here. He's not going to see a Roach Warren or a Baneling Nest just yet, so that's probably a good thing for him, as his tech doesn't really, you know, he doesn't actually have any tech right now, so seeing Roaches or Banelings this early could be kind of worrisome. So he's going to feel a little bit secure that his opponent is just macroing up heavily just like him. Spinecrawler coming up here at the natural, going to defend against anything Gretorp throws at him early in the game, but as we know, Gretorp is just going to continue macroing up. He's probably going to throw down another command center here soon, just like we saw in the first two games. I'll be surprised if he doesn't, as that appears to be his go-to TVZ strategy that he's worked on quite a lot. And, you know, he's had to have had some success with it, or he wouldn't do it 3 games in a row. Zergling speed has been started now, so that Extractor did get up at some point, and other than that, still nothing really happening. Lair is probably going to be the next thing we see at this pace, just mass droning still. DarKFoRcE is taking the Harvester lead right now, 25-21, but Gretorp does have his second orbital command done now. Gretorp is also relocating his wall to this natural location here after killing off that Zergling, making sure he can't get any eyes on this movement. And the orbital command should land here without a hitch. DarKFoRcE back at home, finally getting a lair upgraded here. Still no Roach Warren or Baneling Nest, so Mutalisk's probably going to be his next unit of choice. Gretorp has shown us that he's fond of building lots and lots of barracks with this fast expand, and was kind of slow to get any siege tanks in that first game. The second game he never got siege tanks, it was just too little too late for him, but DarKFoRcE looks to be doing pretty much what he's used to. Baneling Nest coming up now for DarKFoRcE, so it looks like he's looking for a repeat of Game 2 from Metalopolis. Going to try and bust down these barracks, perhaps. It takes about a dozen banelings to crash through one barracks and get these other two burning, but if he has a dozen banelings and a dozen speedlings to follow, it could actually kill Gretorp, so he doesn't have any other way to defend that except for those barracks and a handful of Marines. Command Center number 2 being built as expected. Probably going to be taking this land bridge location here next, as it is pretty safe from any kind of ground army of his opponent, DarKFoRcE. If he were to build it here, speedlings could get in there eventually and just make it a pain in the butt to try and hang on to. DarKFoRcE, on the other hand, probably going to be taking this base as his third, or even the land bridge base down this bottom right spawn. He's breaking down destructible rocks with a single Zergling right now. As you can see, that is going to take about 6 years to do, and Gretorp is breaking down his destructible rocks so that he can transfer some SCVs over to this land bridge location after his orbital command floats over there. Actually, it's not an orbital command yet, so that makes me think he's going to make it into a planetary fortress when he does actually get over there. There is an engineering bay up, getting +1 weapons. He's getting combat shield right now. They already have stim, so he goes mass marine stim every game. DarKFoRcE is getting his third base up, not being nearly as aggressive as he was on Metalopolis, not trying to just win the game in the first 10 minutes. It looks like we are reaching the 8.5 minute mark now. We do have Baneling speed researching and Aspire coming up, but we don't actually have any Banelings. Just 9 speedlings, 46 drones against 36 drones from Gretorp. So DarKFoRcE maintaining his Harvester advantage, but now that there's this third base here for Gretorp, he could actually start to catch up if he just starts spamming SCVs. Back at his natural, throwing up a turret now right in the way of this refinery. It's kind of weird, but still shouldn't hinder his gathering at all. Now these destructible rocks down to 1,600 health, and only 5 Zerglings trying to whittle it away. I don't think DarKFoRcE actually... Whoa, what was that? Gretorp is attacking his planetary fortress all the way down to the point of burning. That is quite a mistake. He's going to have to spend a lot of minerals there to repair that sucker up. Man, that's kind of weird. But now Gretorp is moving over to the destructible rocks. He actually sees that the health is getting quite low, so he's going to throw up a bunker here, and this planetary fortress is going to do just fine against this number of speedlings if these SCVs and Marines are being attacked by the speedlings. Bunker should finish, actually, with plenty of time. Like I said, these destructible rocks take a very long time for just speedlings to kill off. Let's pull up the production tab once again, see what's going on. Burrow coming in, melee attacks level 1, 8 Mutalisks in production, as well as a couple of drones and extractors. Gretorp, on the other hand, throwing up his refineries here at the Smiley Face expansion. Siege tank, siege tech, and +1 weapons just now finishing for his Marines. So everything seems to be going quite well for both players. Just getting the unit compositions that they want. Now we see 11 Banelings morphing here for DarKFoRcE, and they are right up here at this bottom right spawn, so he is quite close to Gretorp's planetary fortress. Looks like the planetary fortress did actually manage to blow up the remainder of those Zerglings, now still just making more SCVs. What do we have here? The Muta flock is headed towards Gretorp's natural. He's going to have to try and find a soft spot. There is a turret up here next to a siege tank, and at the front we have this bunker full of Marines, turret up by the refineries. He's doing a good job covering his base with some anti-air, so the Mutalisks are not going to be very effective, I have a feeling. He's only got 8 of them, but he is actually going to be able to hit the SCVs mining gas right here, or harvesting gas. They don't actually mine gas, I guess. But one Mutalisk goes down, and DarKFoRcE decides, I don't want to lose anymore for no reason, so he's going to back off. Bunch of Banelings starting to roll now, only 2 up front. I wonder why. Oh, they are going to burrow, so he's laying some Baneling landmines throughout this ramp. So if Gretorp ever does choose to move up through here with 90 Marines, he will actually have to pay for that if DarKFoRcE is on his game. If he realizes where Gretorp's units are fast enough, he can trigger those Baneling landmines and blow up quite a lot of them. 2 Banelings will kill a Marine with combat shields, 1 Baneling will not, so it's a good thing that he actually doubled these up. Just keep that in mind if you ever want to do Baneling landmines of your own. 8 Mutalisks still alive for DarKFoRcE. He's going to come in here and just be warded away by a single turret. Turrets are just so powerful in this game. They scare away 8 Mutalisks at a time, but of course there are a ton of Marines on the field right now for Gretorp as well. He's up to 47 right now with combat shields, stim pack, and +1 weapons. So an armory might be, yeah, it's already built actually, getting +1 armor upgraded. He's soon going to be able to get +2, +2, and +3, +3 once that armory is complete. or actually now that the armory is complete, once those upgrades are complete. DarKFoRcE is now on 4 mining bases here, so the harvester count should be, yes, very far in his favor, 73 to 67. Okay, not very far in his favor. Now it's very far in his favor, 78 to 67. 3 mining bases against 4. DarKFoRcE looking pretty good on that income, beating him even in minerals, despite Gretorp having access to mules. Gas is about the same, and these upgrades for both players are just going crazy. +1 air attacks, +2 melee attacks, pathogen glands coming from an infestation pit that was dropped, hive coming up for DarKFoRcE. Looks like he is going to get every Zerg unit possible. Well, I say that, but really doesn't have a Roach Warren or Hydralisk, so still pretty unique. Speedling, Baneling, Muta with some infestors thrown in. I think he did get pathogen glands started on that first map on Icy Cup Fighting Spirit, but didn't actually get any infestors out before Gretorp decided it was time for him to die. Sensor tower up now for Gretorp. Just take the Gretorp vision, and we don't actually see any exclamation points except for the single Zergling at the Xel'Naga tower. Look at the creep spread on the map right now. That is a ton of creep tumors, people. He is almost all the way to Gretorp's natural on the other side of the map. He's got creep spread all the way here, almost to the smiley face expansion even. Gretorp is starting to move out now. Oh, I really want to see if these Baneling landmines are effective. And he actually scans and kills one of the Banelings, 2 Banelings, 3 Banelings being killed right there. But he still has one. Oh, all those Baneling landmines destroyed except for the one that wasn't even triggered. DarKFoRcE might as well just blast that and make the medevacs use their energy, but man, that was a huge actual accomplishment for Gretorp there, killing off all those Baneling landmines. Now we have the Mutalisks from DarKFoRcE trying to show up and do some damage, but there are so many Marines here that can just stim up and take out this entire cloud of Mutas here very, very quickly. We do have an Infestor coming along now. It's got lots of energy for a lovely fungal growth if DarKFoRcE is fast enough. We'll see what he's able to do with it. Fungal growth was changed with patch 1.3, so it's going to be different from now on as well. This could be one of the last games where we see the old fungal growth. What happened there? Looks like a Marine got a little bit too far out ahead. Infestor takes a couple of shells, does not get the fungal growth off. Too bad for DarKFoRcE, so he is 0 for 1 on excellent fungals. He could have hit quite a lot of Marines there as well, but the siege tanks were sitting there ready for him. So DarKFoRcE now moving in with a ton of Banelings and Speedlings. Oh my goodness, they're approaching from all angles, so the siege tanks can't get their maximum splash damage. Lots and lots of Marines getting killed by those Banelings. Now the Infestors are moving up. Don't drop any fungals, but they could now. Now that Gretorp's army is consisting entirely of Marines, fungal growth is going to be more powerful than ever. There goes a big fungal. Baneling's crashing right in. Marines have no chance to get out of there except for those medevacs, but Gretorp not fast enough to do that. He is going to lose all the rest of those units. So now the army looking to be far in DarKFoRcE's favor, 147 to 115. Gretorp is going to need to rebuild very quickly. We see a Greater Spire being morphed now for DarKFoRcE. We have a Queen attacking a single Marine here. It somehow stemmed up and ran in here, trying to check what bases DarKFoRcE has available. Look at this map. Another base coming up here at the Upside Down Smiley Face expansion. He's got a ton of Mutalisks still in the air. He's got a lot of Banelings and Infestors creating, wow, 18 more Banelings in production right now. 2 more hatcheries coming, so macro hatches being placed somewhere. There's a Nidus worm here ready to start doing some damage. Nidus network, I should say. The worm is actually not anywhere yet. I don't see him trying to place that anywhere anyway. 2 Marines, 3 Marines, and some medevacs coming over here. This is kind of gutsy, but Gretorp is trying to do some damage up here with this drop as well, so we'll go ahead and place that in the picture-in-picture and watch these medevacs die. Actually, now that there are no Marines there, we might as well watch the Mutalisks tear up these Marines that remain at this, I don't know, 4th base of DarKFoRcE. And now that they're all dead with some nice fungal growths, Banelings, and infested Marines picking off that last medevac, DarKFoRcE looking even more in control of this game. 157 to 115 army supply, 70 harvesters against 67. So Gretorp is close on harvesters. Nope, 75 to 68 now. So DarKFoRcE still just droning up heavily. His Greater Spire is done. He is making 4 Broodlords right here on our camera. He's getting Ground Carapace level 3, that's going to be very nice to have. Flyer Carapace level 1, they already have +1 attack, so he's going up to 1/1 for his flyers. Thor being made now for Gretorp. He is building another command center, or he's got one built already, and he's building another one here, so he's trying to take as many expansions as he can, but there's creep absolutely everywhere, so it's going to be hard to drop a command center somewhere that is creep-free. Gretorp trying to inch closer to this 3rd base of DarKFoRcE, but Look how many Speedlings and Banelings and Infestors are sitting here. They've got 3-2 upgrades for these ground units. Infestors gathering tons of energy for great fungal growth. Broodlords now finishing. There are 6 Broodlords right here. We got Neural Parasite researching as well. I love to see Neural Parasite. This single siege take manages to get the attention of a few Zerglings, kill those off quite quickly. But now looks like we're getting for a small engagement. All these Marines just suiciding into the Broodlords there. I don't think they managed to kill anything. But if Gretorp was trying to bait these units in, I think even that was a bad decision, as it looks like DarKFoRcE has more than enough to be able to kill off everything that Gretorp has here. DarKFoRcE sitting at 196 total supply against Gretorp's 161, and Broodlord's just going to be able to take out these siege tanks no problem at all. There are 2 Vikings in here, but Corruptors and Mutalisks in the sky are going to be able to take out those Vikings very quickly. Now we see the Speedlings and the Banelings coming in to try and kill off the rest of these Marines. Not quite going to reach them in time, but DarKFoRcE still with a very, very large force here. Actually trying to pick off now a command center that he's located, so tough luck for Gretorp, not able to actually take his 5th base. He did actually get a 4th base up here with a planetary fortress just outside of his main, but this command center is not long for this world. There it goes, exploding in spectacular fashion, and DarKFoRcE looking very, very solid in this game. More research being done, missile attacks level 1 coming now, more Corruptors being produced to eventually get Broodlords perhaps. More Infestors being made. Neural Parasite is done. Ventral Sacs starting to research. Ground Armor level 3 coming along for Gretorp. He is already at 3-2, so upgrades are nearing their maximum potential here. This is a quite long game already, 22.5 minutes, about to be 23 minutes, but lots of Broodlords up for DarKFoRcE. Not too many Thors, I think, for Gretorp. No, he only got 1 Thor. Lots of Vikings starting to be produced, but all these Corruptors are going to be a great escort for the Broodlords. Looks like DarKFoRcE's majority of his units, or his army supply, are tied up in these air units, so he's doing a good job with a nice mix of Mutas, Corruptors, and Broodlords here to actually be quite mobile. There is a Nidus Worm. Here we go. Not actually going to be too effective. The big problem with the Nidus Worm is A, its HP. It dies in about 1 second to this number of Marines, and B, that it unloads only 1 unit at a time. So if this Nidus Worm can actually pop up without Gretorp seeing it, then he can actually spit out all the units all around it in a circle before streaming out 1 at a time, but it's just very difficult to do when the units are right there next to it. And another worm pops up and is taken out equally quickly. Now we see DarKFoRcE trying to do some damage over here on the side. More upgrades being done all the time. Infested Terrans and Broodlords might be able to actually take out this entire base, but this planetary fortress is quite strong. The Infested Terrans are benefiting from the range damage upgrade and +3 armor, so they are quite stout actually. They do more damage than Marines, if you didn't know. Fungal growth on these Vikings, so they're not going to be able to escape from the massive Corruptors here. DarKFoRcE doing a good job microing his units. Some Banelings splashing into this planetary fortress while all this is going on. These Fungals are absolutely disgusting, covering every single unit Gretorp has there. So many Marines just died in those fungal growths, and that planetary fortress went down to the Banelings. DarKFoRcE showing us some really great unit control right now against Gretorp in this game 3. He really wants to win this, showing us some great play with Infestors, Banelings, and an excellent Zerg Air Force. You normally don't see a stout Zerg Air Force like this. Usually it's Terran with Vikings, Ravens, Banshees, and every once in a while you'll see a battlecruiser or 2, or that Protoss Air Force, Phoenixes and Void Rays, and with eventually sometimes a mothership as well. But the Zerg Air Force, you really just don't see it that much. Broodlords and Corruptors are a great combination, especially with these Infestors holding everything in place. Banelings on the ground to splash anything that's caught in those infested, fungal growths. Lots more Banelings coming in now. They could splash this command center. Instead, they go for the supply depots. Are they actually going to block Gretorp? No, they're not. But still, quite a lot of damage done. He's going to have to rebuild a couple of supply depots. He is blocked at the moment, but he's not in a deficit at all. More Nidus Worms being made. This is just going to be very, very hard for DarKFoRcE to actually make happen. It's very hard to get a Nidus Worm to do exactly what you want. If he dropped a Nidus Worm right here at the smiley face that's near mined out, that actually would be helpful, as it cuts that run distance for his land units quite a lot. These Infestors could all load in there, for example, because they're kind of slow off of creep. But it doesn't really matter if they're slow off of creep, because there's creep absolutely all over the map. This base now coming under assault by a lot of Infested Terrans. Look at all these Infested Terran eggs coming now. infested swarm eggs, I should say. Dang, that's a lot. But Gretorp is trying to do an assault now on his opponent DarKFoRcE. This Planetary Fortress is going to go down. All the SCVs just abandoning it. So Broodlords and infested Terrans taking that out very quickly. Gretorp is trying to go tit for tat here. He's got some tanks sieged up, but he actually can't reach this hatchery with these siege tanks. So he is going to have to get over there somehow to finish him off. We do see some medevacs lifting up some Marines to try and take out this hatchery up here at the upside down smiley face, but there are spine crawlers in place able to kill them off. Corruptors coming in now, finishing off the Vikings. Fungal Growths hitting those Marines once again quite solidly. Broodlords down here in the bottom, very safely hitting all of these siege tanks. They can just back off, and these Thors won't be able to keep up. So Gretorp is actually potentially going to score a hat-trick kill with these two Marines, but it's going to take a very long time to do it. Broodlord's slightly getting baited into this huge wall of Marines, but DarKFoRcE still doing a good job controlling them. How many infestors is this? Holy crap. 18 infestors? No, 14. No, 18. 18 infestors. This is the most I've ever seen at one time, I think. But now he has Neural Parasite complete. He can steal these Thors or Siege Tanks if he wanted to, but instead he's just dropping line after line of infested Terrans, providing cover for all of these Broodlords that he still has intact up here. 6 Broodlords, 18 infestors. Fungal growth going to be happening all over the place. We see a fungal just on 3 or 4 Marines, and he can do that because he has tons and tons of energy available. One infestor does get sacked there. All these Marines are going to go down to the last of the infested Terrans. Great fungal growth once again. Broodlords are going to be finished off, but we have 6 more morphing right here. Infested Neural Parasite actually going down now on a single Thor, trying to do some damage. Thor number 2 taken over. Thor number 3 taken over. So Gretorp's firepower is extremely mitigated every time a Thor is taken over, and of course he's taking damage from his own units, which has to hurt. And fungal growth, infested Terrans coming out all the time. Still so many infestors left alive here, and a new fresh batch of Broodlords doing maximum damage here. They have their 2-2 upgrades. Thor's sitting only at 1-1. Marines should be at 3-3 now. I believe they are, but DarKFoRcE still with the army advantage, 192 to 82 now. Gretorp losing all those units in these huge, huge battles. 10 more Corruptors coming now. And I don't see how Gretorp is going to continue with this game. The Broodlords alone at this point could actually take out the one mining base that Gretorp has left, and that is this Planetary Fortress right here. You can see it fully saturated with potentially all 49 of these harvesters, but Broodlords hitting from a safe distance. Gretorp is going to pull all of his SCVs to try and do some damage there. Marines coming in from the bottom. One nice fungal there could take care of that entire batch. There we do see a fungal underneath those Corruptors. Planetary Fortress getting repaired back up, but Gretorp just does not have enough fighting units to keep anything alive. Look at this 60 supply now, the value entirely in DarKFoRcE's favor, and I have to say, this game was very, very awesome. It was a great example of ZVT and how you can do some things differently. Broodlords came pretty quick. Infestors got all their upgrades, and in big numbers, they were able to fungal absolutely everything that Gretorp threw at them. Neural Parasites taking over Thors, something I've loved ever since the beta. Neural Parasite is such a great spell, and Infested Terrans actually doing so much damage throughout this game. This Planetary Fortress is still standing somehow, but with all these infested Terrans up, they're going to be picking off those SCVs incredibly quickly. Gretorp does finally GG, and that is going to be it for this best of 3 series between DarKFoRcE from Alternate Attacks and Gretorp from Fnatic MSI. Wonderful series there. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Go check out some more games that I cast from this Justin.tv Invitational number 2, and there will be more to come. If you liked the games today, I hope that you're subscribed, and if you do subscribe, you'll be the first to know whenever I post a new game, so I hope that you will help me out by subscribing and checking out all my future casts. If you're subscribed already, I would hope that you check out the games that I've already cast between Idra and Druby, Sock and Cloud, and most recently Axelav versus Strifecrow. That was a really great PvZ series that I cast just yesterday, so hope you guys are enjoying all the games. Hope you subscribe. Hope you will watch my future casts. I love you all. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys soon.